Welcome to the Y&R Insider. You'll go to spot for all y latest spoilers, updates, and the estenes scopes from the Y&R Restless. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay updated with everything happening in Genoa City. Let's dive into today's wiki news.
Victor Newman, the powerful and manipulative patriarch of the Newman family, has made a lasting impact on the young and the restless for decades. Whether you love him or hate him, one thing is clear: his influence over the lives of his children and others around him is undeniable. However, there are many characters in the show who, despite their ties to Victor, have started to question whether it's time to break free from his grasp. One character, in particular, seems to be teetering on the edge of cutting ties with the infamous Victor Newman for good. So, should this character finally take the plunge and sever their connection with the Newman patriarch? Let's take a deeper look at the reasons why this might be the right decision. The strained father-child relationship. Victor has never been the most traditional father figure. While he has undeniably provided financial support and resources for his children, his methods of controlling and manipulating those around him have been a recurring theme. Victoria, his eldest daughter, has often found herself caught in the middle of his schemes. Throughout the years, Victoria has been pushed into difficult situations by her father's overbearing and controlling ways. Despite this, she has always returned to his side, whether out of loyalty or the desire to gain his approval. But as Victoria matures, she has begun to question the toll that her father's constant interference has taken on her personal life and career. The latest developments have only intensified her doubts. Victor's manipulation of situations and disregard for his family's emotions are becoming harder for Victoria to ignore. The impact on her personal life. One of the main reasons Victoria might consider cutting ties with Victor is the negative impact it has on her personal life. As a successful businesswoman, Victoria has worked hard to build her own legacy. Yet Victor's constant involvement often complicates her professional decisions. Whether it's his control over Newman Enterprises or his influence over her romantic choices, Victoria has found it increasingly difficult to carve out her own path. Her relationships, especially with those outside the family, have suffered as well. She has been repeatedly pulled back into situations where she has to choose between her love life and her father's expectations. In many instances, Victor's insistence on having a say in her relationships has caused rifts that Victoria struggles to mend. At some point, this repeated cycle may become too much for her to bear, and cutting ties with Victor might be the best way for her to move forward and find peace. The need for independence. Throughout her life, Victoria has been dependent on Victor for much of her success, but she is also a strong, capable woman in her own right. As she continues to grow in her role at Newman Enterprises, Victoria has realized that she doesn't need her father's constant intervention to succeed. She's more than capable of running the company and making decisions that are in the best interest of her career and her family. This desire for independence has been growing stronger, especially now that she's beginning to understand the emotional cost of remaining under Victor's thumb. By cutting ties with him, she could embrace her own power, make her own decisions, and take full control of her destiny without the shadow of Victor looming over every choice she makes. The cycle of manipulation. One of the major reasons why Victoria may need to sever her relationship with Victor is the constant cycle of manipulation that she finds herself in. Victor's love is often laced with strings attached. He has a way of twisting situations to make his desires appear as though they are in the best interest of his children. But over time, Victoria has begun to see the cracks in this narrative. She realizes that his actions aren't always driven by love, but by a desire to control those around him. By breaking free from Victor's manipulative grasp, Victoria could finally free herself from the emotional toll it has taken on her. This would allow her to focus on building relationships based on mutual respect and trust, rather than constantly navigating the chess game that Victor has set up for her. Is it time for Victoria to let go? At the end of the day, the decision to cut ties with Victor is a difficult one. Victoria has spent most of her life trying to win her father's approval, and the thought of severing that connection could be emotionally taxing. However, she may come to realize that by doing so, she would be taking control of her own life, both personally and professionally.